Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, the unsettled weather that we had in the latter part of last week and then a little bit into the weekend definitely took a toll on the amount of fish being caught around the area, and then we headed into the heat wave. Wow, that's what you get. And typically the first week of school, we get a heat wave. Well, there's a heat wave for you when we're talking about temperatures, actual air temperatures above 100, approaching 105, and in some areas exceeding it. That has definitely limited the number of people going out, to say the least. If people went out, they went out in the morning to avoid the main heat of the day. A few people caught fish. There's honestly, if you put in your time, you're going to find those active fish. And some of those lakes that produce walleyes up in the northeastern part of the state included Waubay. That seemed like where everyone was going this past week. Other lakes included Hazelton, Big Stone, Bitter, Reed, Opitz, Lynn and Midland, and then also North and South Rush. Dry Lake by Clear produced a few, as well as Goose. And again, remember about the boat launch at Goose. Then down the southeastern part of the state, it seems like the lakes were even a little bit more limited in producing walleyes this past week, but the main one, it seemed like Dry Lake by Willow Lake started producing a few more. Also, some nice crappies being caught out of there, but they're not a lot, but when you come across them, they're definitely a dandy, to say the least. Other lakes included Thompson, Ponset, 81 Ponds, and the thing about 81 Ponds, remember, it is weedy, to say the least. Sinai, North Island produced a few, as well as Twin, and remember, Twin is a trophy lake. And then also Vermilion also produced a few walleyes, but again, they were more on the small side than anything else. Now, what are people doing to catch the walleyes? No special tricks needed. A lot of people are trolling with crankbaits, especially with the Hornets that you see behind me, and we'll talk about that in Todd's Tackle Tips. And then also a lot of people are snap jigging, whether or not you're using a moonshine shiver minnow or a hyper rattle. It seems like the hyper rattles are probably the main go-to bait, as well as the Rapala jigging rat. All three are great baits to jig with this fall. The other ones, a lot of people are pulling bottom bouncers with slow death and a half crawler, whether or not it's a real crawler or an artificial crawler. And then other people that are fishing the weed lines, especially up by Dry Lake and by Willow Lake, they're throwing jigs and swim baits along the weed edge or into the weeds. And if you're not coming away with weeds, you're not doing it right. So again, some nice fish being caught using that presentation. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about Salmo Hornets. And the reason why is that that's one method right now that is working better than anything else around eastern South Dakota, and that's controlling with the Salmo Hornets. And we, Dakota Angler, are the home of a great selection of Salmo Hornets. You're not going to find a better selection anywhere else in the tri-state area. So if you're looking for a Salmo Hornet, stop on by here at Dakota Angler, pick one up here at the store, or also order them online at dakotaangler.com. But what makes these things so special? Well, they typically will troll anywhere from between 5 and 10 feet for a size 4. And that's typically, the size that most people will use around area lakes here in eastern South Dakota. Some will use a 5. Other people will also use a size 5 on the Missouri River. But also these things are tried and true. In other words, they're going to be perfect when you pull them out of the box. They're going to troll nice and perfect, so you're not going to have to adjust them in any form or fashion. So again, they will troll the way you want them to, pull the way that you want them to attract fish. The other nice thing about them is they come in a number of unique color patterns. And we have 10 custom colors here at Dakota Angler. The two most popular lately, especially since the lakes have been turning a lot greener than what they have been, one of them is the White Tiger UV. And you see that right there. It's been a very popular color. It will have the UV color and it will glow a little bit. The other one is the Mud Rocket. A Mud Rocket is kind of a sleeper, if you know what I mean. The reason why is it's a little bit darker, looks a little bit more like a bullhead, and sometimes those darker colors really work well in darker stained water, such as those that have a lot of algae bloom around them. So again, these two, as well as 8 others, are unique to only us here at Dakota Angler. You're not going to find them anyplace else. So if you want to order them online, all you have to do is go to a Salmo Hornet page and then look for the Dakota Angler custom or exclusive colors, and you'll find the 10 colors. If you can't go to the web, stop on by the store, and we'll be more than happy. And of course, if you can't stop by the store and you don't want to order online, you can always give us a call to place your order at 605-336-9132. But if you don't have any Hornets now, folks, you need to get them because they're a great way to fish and they always will produce walleyes. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. Before we end this week's report, I want to remind you to mark your calendars for November 10th to the 12th for the Dakota Angler Ice Institute. Folks, it's not too early to talk about ice. Kids are heading back to school the latter part of August. Things are going to start shifting now towards a little bit of hard water thinking. And so again, if you're interested in ice fishing, or if you're an avid ice fisherman, the Dakota Angler Ice Institute is the place that you're going to want to be at the Sioux Falls Arena and Convention Center, November 10th through the 12th. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. And again, folks, stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.